Wall Street ends mixed on Friday. The Dow closes its worst week since February, while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 end down for a third straight week. Investors now look ahead to the annual Jackson Hole Economic Symposium scheduled later this week. Stocks in the Asia-Pacific trade mixed. China cuts short-term rates by 10 basis points, while the 5-year rate is left unchanged. The SGX Nifty is indicating a flat start for the Indian market. And oil posts its first weekly loss in 8 weeks, even as prices rise on Friday. Concerns over the health of the Chinese economy remain an overhang. Gold too closes last week with losses as the street bets on the Fed keeping rates higher for longer. And Titan announces the purchase of an additional 27.18% stake in online jewelry retailer Carrot Lane for 4,621 crore rupees. The deal takes Titan's stake in the company to over 98% and values Carrot Lane at rupees 17,000 crores. And Reliance Industries' financial services subsidiary Jio Financial Services will list on the exchanges today. The stock is currently trading under a dummy ticker after price discovery valued it at 261.85 rupees a share. The stock will also remain on the FTSE indices, while it will be added to the MSCI Global Standard Index from the 23rd of August. Hi guys, a very good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast. I'm Pavitra Parekh. Those are the top headlines that we have for you this morning. It's clearly a very important day for our own markets because we do have Jio Financial Services which will be listing today. So all eyes are really on that. We're going to talk lots more about that as well as the domestic cues. But first up, let's just take a look at what we're getting in terms of a global handover. You do have the Asian markets which are trading pretty mixed right now, but there are steep cuts coming through in some of them. Seng for index, for example, is down over 200 points, 220 points gone there. So it's a 1.2% cut that you're getting for the Hong Kong market right at the start. The Taiwanese market has actually moved up a little bit in the past few minutes. So right now it's up around 0.3%, but it was seeing some cuts earlier in the day. If you have the Shanghai index, that is also seeing some pressure. So that's down around 0.25%, but the rest of them are holding up quite well. So the Nikkei market is up around 0.4%. You also have Kospi, which is trading around 0.3% in the green. So extremely mixed as far as the Asian picture goes right now. The SGX, the Gift Nifty will be up for you, and it is indicating that the start for our own markets could be quite flat. It's absolutely flat right now. Just around 8 points in the red is where we're at in terms of what the open could look like. So that's what's happening across Asia. But let's also talk about the US market now. We have Wall Street, which ended Friday's trading session mixed. But the Dow Jones, S&P 500, we did see them close largely flat, while the Nasdaq gave up around 25 points. So this is all about what happened on Friday. But if you look at the week, then all three major indices finished the week with pretty steep cuts, over 2% gone on the Dow, S&P, as well as Nasdaq, like you can see. And now the key cue really for the US and for global markets will be the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. And investors, of course, await Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments, which will take place on the 25th, that is on Thursday. In fact, ECB Chief Christine Lagarde is also expected to attend the conference. So this is really the key global cue to track right now for this week on. But sticking with the US, let's also listen to some commentary. This comes in from Jurian Timmer of Fidelity Investments on where he really sees the market headed from here. Listen in.
The market's moving on to that recovery narrative, and as typically happens, the first phase of that is all PE, and so the PE ratio, which was 15 in October, is 20 now. The market has kind of front-run a lot of good things that are supposedly going to happen, but now they need to happen. The bull market narrative still stands, but the market kind of rallied in a pretty symmetrical channel.
Okay, that is some important opinion that we are tracking, but let's now talk about all of the global cues and how they really impact us, everything that you should watch from a domestic standpoint as well. We have Rima and Surbi joining us now with the trade setup. Guys, a very good morning to both of you. And Rima, coming to you first, take us through everything that we should, watch ahead of the market open. Of course, last week was not the best for us, but take us through everything we should watch now.
Well, it looks like, there could be some more consolidation on the cards. The Gift Nifty is suggesting a flattish start, just down by a couple of points. But markets have been consolidating for a while now. The key levels to watch now will be 19,265. That's the 20-day exponential moving average, 50-day exponential moving average. So that on the way down will be a crucial level, and on the way up, levels closer to 19,500. So the recent swing high was a level of 19,482. So those would be two important markers, 19,250 on the way down to about 19,500 on the way up. Last week as well, markets consolidated, finally ended around 19,300 with a cut of about 0.6, 0.7%. And from our all-time high levels, the Nifty has lost 3.4%, while the sensex has lost close to about 4%. The US markets for last week were down about 2.5%. The S&P 500 notching its third straight week of losses. The focus will now be on Jerome Powell's speech in Jackson Hole Symposium on the 25th of August. The other two macroeconomic indicators, the dollar index is currently well above 103, and the 10-year bond yield was at 4.25 on Friday, so it eased a bit compared to Thursday's levels. In terms of flows, we had the FI selling 266 crore in the cash market, while the DII's net bought 340 crore. Back to you.
All right, Reema, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues. But let's also talk about all of the stocks that we should really watch in today's trading session. We have Surbhi here with that list. And Surbhi, all eyes really on that big listing at 10 a.m., Geo Financial.
That's right. All eyes will be on the listing, and also the company will be added to the MSCI Global Standard Index on August 23rd. Titan is also on my radar. The company acquires additional 27% stake in Carrot Lane for 4,621 crores. Gujarat Gas, the company hikes industrial gas prices to 40 rupees and 83 paise per SCM with effect from August 21st. Yes Bank, the company receives 230 crores from a single trust in the security receipts portfolio. PNB Housing Finance, the company resolves and recovers corporate NPA account of 784 crores. Tanla Platforms, the company won't be renewing the Voda Idea agreement beyond the expiry of the initial term of November 2023. And lastly, Murugappa Group stocks will also be in focus as the family settles disputes with Wali Arunachalam.
All right, Surbhi, thanks a lot for filling us in with all of that action. We are going to watch for all of these stocks. And finally, Nigel is also here to take us through all of the cues from the futures and options space. Nigel, like we were mentioning, the consolidation really continued last week. But how's it looking this morning?
Well, morning, Pavitra. It's a bit of a scalper's market. That is, you buy on the dip. And in fact, you've settled that position. Don't carry it overnight. That seems to be the trade that's been playing out. Now, in Friday's trading session, you did see some lightening of open interest, both on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank. And the FI data, well, it perfectly, tied in with that, because the unwound positions and the unwound positions on the short side, both on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank, close on 10,000 contracts were unwound out there, though they continue to remain net short with the short positioning at around 58%. On the option side, you're not getting any big direction out there because they bought more calls than puts. But on the writing end, they wrote both calls as well as puts. So let's take you through the most active strikes in Friday's trading session. You had the 19,400 call. Well, that was fairly active. It added close to around 60 lakh shares. The 19,300 call as well added more than 40 lakh shares. And on the downside, 19,250 put. That added more than 40 lakh shares. The premium is around 60 rupees, which brings us to the levels then. You'll say the Nifty is still a very, very jittery, and you'll expect a fresh breakout only once we get past the 20 DMA. That's very, very important. Currently, we're hovering around the 50 DMA. The crucial support zone, going by the options data, is around 19,200 to 19,250. We've visited 19,250 numerous times last week, but we have bounced off those levels. So let's see how this goes. But for starters, though, the Gift Nifty is indicating a more or less flattish start with a bit of a negative bias. Back to you.
All right, Nigel, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues. With that, we do need to get into our first break. But on the other side, we're going to talk all about the commodity market action. There are a lot of cues coming through from there as well. So stay tuned. We'll fill you in when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast here on CNBC TV18. We've been going through all of the equity-related cues. So let's also talk about what's really going on with the commodities. And we have Manisha joining in to fill us in with all of the details. Manisha, what are you tracking as we get into this brand new week?
Morning, Pavitra, and thank you for that. Well, I'll start with the crude oil prices after where we've seen 7 weeks of gains, but the previous week saw 2% of a decline. But even with that, we are back above holding $80 a barrel for the WTI crude prices, and Brent is trading above 85 as well. Well, the markets, while are looking at the weak China economic data, but there's a lot of hope on how much China could cut in sense of interest rates. That would be one data to watch out for today. And apart from that, the U.S. rig count has continued to decline by 5 up to 520 right now, and that is also at a multi-year low. That seems to be providing some support into the market. This is a week that has opened on a slight positive note for many of the metal prices also. So whether it's copper, zinc, tin, with the kind of declines that we've seen in past 3 weeks, there seems to be some opportunity buying coming in right now. Also, the fact that the dollar index has seen a bit of a decline, and the markets are now waiting for cues from the Jackson Hole meeting that happens in this week, and that might be setting some stage for the U.S. Fed meeting going forward as well.
All right, Manisha, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues. That is the key global event that we're all watching, the Jackson Hole Summit, which kicks off on the 25th. But moving on, let's also bring you the latest updates on India's moon mission. The countdown to Chandrayaan-3's soft landing on the moon has begun. The spacecraft has completed a journey of 163 kilometers and is currently on a smaller orbit. The ambitious moon mission is well on track for a successful landing on Wednesday. So that's, something that we're all watching. But in more news, Russia's lunar lander, Luna 25, crashed on the surface of the moon, marking the failure of the country's first lunar mission. If India's lunar mission is successful, that's on Wednesday, then Chandrayaan-3 will become the first to make a soft landing on the moon's south polar region. So that is clearly exciting news for all of us, and we're all waiting for that soft landing on Wednesday. But with that, we are going to get into a short break. On the other side, Jio Financial Services is slated to list on the bourses today. We're going to bring you all of the details, so stay with us. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. And like we were mentioning earlier on the show, Titan is in focus today after the company has acquired an additional 27% stake in jewelry brand CaratLane. So Mangalam is here with some more details on this. Mangalam, what does the total stake now stand at?
Well, Titan was buzzing in trade in the last two trading sessions and everyone was wondering what it is. And turns out that the street was bracing itself for this development. The company will acquire additional 27.2% stake in CaratLane. The stake not as important as the valuation, because 4,621 crores is what they will be paying for this. They already own 71.1% stake. So after this, Titan's stake will go all the way up to 98.3% itself. So this 4,600 crores that they're paying for 27% values CaratLane at 17,000 crore rupees. That's nearly $2 billion. Remember, Titan first bought 62% stake in CaratLane a few years ago in 2016 for 357 crore itself. So Titan, so far for the 71% stake, it's invested around 400 to 450 crores, and now they're investing 10 times that for just 27% stake itself. CaratLane's valuation has jumped nearly 30 times, from 576 odd crores to close to 17,000 odd crores. In the same period, the sales have jumped nearly 3 times, and the first quarter so far, the revenues have been close to around 640 crores with 5.5% margin itself. What is good about this deal? It's a fast-growing business, online, offline, and at the same time, Titan gets higher stake in that. However, what's not so good about this deal? Valuation at 8 times price to trailing sales and 4,600 crores going in means that Titan will have to also take some debt to fund this, and that would increase their interest expense as well. What does the stock do then? Opens in the red, and then we see whether it recovers from there or not, largely because this was at some point imminent, so it's better now than later.
All right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for getting us all of those details. In fact, we're also going to speak with the Titan management. Mr. Ashok Sonthalia, the Chief Financial Officer of Titan, will be with us at 9:40 a.m. today. So remember to catch that conversation here on CNBC TV18. But let's now talk about the big Q that we've been mentioning. Jio Financial Services, which demerged from Reliance Industries last month, will list on the stock exchanges today. So Prashant is here to tell us more about that. Prashant.
Well, thanks very much for that. So, yeah, the listing is today, and we'll get you live pictures from the Bombay Stock Exchange as the day goes by. Around 10 or so, the JFS team will be there. Just to give you a quick background in terms of where everything which has happened up till now and what happens from here on. So the price which was found after the demerger of Jio Financial out of Reliance Industries was 261 rupees and 85 paise, and that kind of acts as a base as we start the trading this morning. Just a quick look at the potential market capitalization based on that 261 rupees price. It works out about 1,66,000 crore rupees or so. The point is what happens from here on. The stock basically on Wednesday, it lists today on the exchanges. But remember, as part of the new kind of way to find value of a stock which is getting demerged, it was made part of the Nifty and the other indices. And it's been the 51st stock on the Nifty for the last, since the 20th of July when the demerger actually took place. But of course, it's been quoted at a constant value of that 261, 262 odd rupees or so. Today it starts trading, so you basically actually will have will have 51 stocks trading on the Nifty for the next 3 days. So on Wednesday, that is T plus 3, the trade day, which is today, plus 3 days, Wednesday evening, Jio Financial Services will be taken out of the exchanges taken out of the indices, that'll, of course, that depends on certain conditions, one being the fact that the stock should not hit a circuit, right, for 2 days in a row. If that condition is met on day 3, which is Wednesday evening, the stock goes out of the Nifty and other indices that it is part of. And of course, eventually later, as it meets eligibility, stocks got to be listed for at least a month, and there are other things as well. It can make its way back into Nifty and other indices, etc. So that's the way ahead. Now, just a quick look at, and this is essentially the interesting part, which the market will put a price to. What's in a way the sum of the parts? I couldn't find a better way to kind of put this, because it's not as if it's got very many operating businesses, right? I mean, actually, it's got it's just got the money that Reliance put in. It's got what it paid for the 6.1% stock in Reliance Industries. So the core net worth is there. Now you can use any multiple to, what should stocks trade at, right? Financial stocks trade at the best trade at 3 times, 3.5, 4 times book. right? Geo Financial Services at this point in time doesn't have, as I said, like a lending business or other businesses, so as to speak. But taking 3 times multiple, and if you change the number, the eventual outcome will change. You basically get, that number of one. I mean, you add this to that, you get a number a little over 1 lakh odd crores or so. Now, you add the 6.1% stake in Reliance Industries, which is at the current market price, which is as of Thursday's close. The numbers will be as of Thursday's close. You get the total number, which is 1,37,000 crores or so. So that's basically what we are working with at this point in time. Of course, the court at 10 o'clock will essentially tell us if these are the numbers which the market wants to ascribe to Geo Financial Services or something else. Of course, exactly a week after today, that's the 28th, next Monday, we'll hear from Reliance Industries potentially on their plans for this business, which is Geo Financial Services. Back to you.
All right, Prashant, thanks a lot for getting us all of those details. That is Geo Financial Services going to list at 10 a.m. today, and then the Reliance AGM is next Monday. With that, we're going to wind down in this edition of Power Breakfast with the news that the Asian markets are pretty mixed right now. The implied open for our own markets is also absolutely flat, just around 5 points in the red. Thank you for tuning in. We have Bazaar Morning Call up into.